Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University, and Star, issue number 4 of 5. All right, I am so into this, and the book just keeps on getting better. Dude, first issue, pretty good. Second, possibly even third issue, a little bit of it. Third issue got better. Fourth issue, okay, I'm there, and I can't wait for this next issue. I'm starting to see where a lot of all of this is going, and I'm terrified for the future of our heroes, but hey, let's just keep rolling with it. I'm sure everything will work out good in the end. We can all hope, right? Like Carol Danvers says, she's sick of hope. Yeah, we're all screwed. We're all screwed. Let's get talking about who made this comic book. We're going to read more about the comic book itself. Writer Kelly Thompson. Artists Javier Pina with Jay Leisten and Felipe Andrade. Cover artist Jesus Abertov with Chris O'Halloran. VC's Clayton Cowles doing the letters and the design. And the cover artists are Carmen Carnero and Jesus Abertov. The logo, Selena Mahina. I love that name. Jen Bartel does that variant cover. So yeah, dude. Hey, wasn't the Soul Stone originally green? But that was that's when they were gems, right? The stones are different. And it is weird, man. Anyway, these two knuckleheads wind up getting themselves into a huge fight. Look, I know that there's some people out there, mostly a bunch of goofballs, but there's some actual legitimate people who are curious about Star. Like, what is this? Like, she what do you call it? She's killed by Captain Marvel, and suddenly that makes her relevant. No, that's not actually how it happened. It's funny how people think, or at least how people convince themselves to think. This issue right here, I think, defines the character so much better than I could have possibly expected that she was going to be defined. Check this out. She's horrified and haunted by the idea that Carol killed her. Yeah, Carol killed her, whatever. She deserved it, and you know it. The idea is that she had to kill her in order to get the device out of her that was causing the power dampening and all that crazy stuff, right? In order for that stuff at Times Square to stop. Now, there's a part in this comic book where it goes back in time. All right, it's not a magical thing. It's just her memory. Star at one point gets knocked out. Well, she doesn't get knocked out. She has a panic attack, and she does pass out because she was actually probably like hyperventilated because she was almost knocked out by Captain Marvel, one of her photon blasts. Look, man, I love the drive of this character, Star. All right? How all of this stuff is happening to her, and it's happening to her fast. She is a person who comes from a place of abuse, of trauma. She was freaking, horrified all the crazy stuff that happened to her at the beginning of the Captain Marvel book. And she had so much hope in Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel failed her in her own mind, and now she's trying to lash out. While she hates Captain Marvel so much, I want us to think about what it actually takes to hate. What is this word hate? A lot of people use it frivolously. I get it. Whatever. I'm good with that. You know what I'm saying? But when you really think about the word hate, this emotion, this passion, what could an absolute nobody do to you to make you hate them? You could wish them to die. You could want to forget about them. You could want them to, fall off a cliff while they're on fire and crash into a freaking, I don't know, pile of very flammable cow dung. I don't know. You could want all sorts of bad things for someone, but to actually hate someone, you'd have to know them first. You can't just hate a stranger. You can't hate somebody who's even, anything around a casual acquaintance. It would have to be someone who you actually know. And to the core, you despise this person. So she doesn't really hate her. She thinks she does, but she doesn't. And she fears her. And she may try to, convince herself that she doesn't, but she does. But something that I noticed more in this issue than anything else, which actually made me just stare at this and say, holy crap. Look at how much she adulates her. Look how much she respects her. She wears her colors. It's a different scheme, I get it, blah, 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 whatever. But if the two were to stand next to each other, you might just for a second go, wait, oh, yeah, it's her. I love that. She really does hate Carol. She does. Because she thinks she knows her. Now, whether you know someone or not and you hate someone or not, whatever. It's like you've built up enough of an image of a person, whether it's what they've shown you or what you've chosen to glean off of someone. She has this image of what Carol was, her hero, the greatest, ever. Wow. And then it's like, no, she's not those things. She let me down. That's not what heroes do. Now I hate her and I want her to suffer. And now that I have power, I want everybody to suffer. It really says a lot about Star, Ripley Riley, more than anybody else. It's cool. I dig on this character a lot. In this particular issue, you really just have a whole bunch of fighting, and you have Carol showing how ridiculously powerful she is. You also get to see a little bit of her, not delegating, but barking orders, but in a way that Star is understanding. Now, she does have a moment when she starts to realize that her stuff is failing, and mind you, Carol can't necessarily see that her stuff is failing. She's not nearly as familiar with the use of the Reality Stone as Ripley is right now. Also, Scarlet Witch was summoned. I thought that would be like a teleportation thing, but whatever. I guess she's on her way. And I love that Wanda is being pulled into this. Like the absolute perfect character and the absolute perfect foil for whatever is about to happen next, because it looks like she's going to, Riley is going to wind up joining the Blackwater at some point, because there's a full-blown fight with these guys here, and it's incredible. If you were looking for action, if you were seriously wanting for action in this story, this issue gave it to you in spades. Now what's about to happen next? Like I said, I can only glean by what I'm seeing on the cover and what they're showing. But as she joins that Black Order, oof. Oof, we's in trouble. I don't think that's actually going to be the case. Not permanently, because they definitely don't need more people in the Black Order. But if anybody's going to be misled into joining a group that means nothing but ill will towards her in the end, yeah, Ripley would do that. She's a very soft soul who's been hurt, and she's basically fractured, and she needs to be put back together, and she sure as hell does not have the ability, not right now at least, to do that. Can Carol? Only if Ripley trusts her. And that is what I believe this story is going to be mostly about. Not just the next issue alone. Not just the next issue. But everything about this character of Star. It's going to be based on trust. Can you trust someone who you hate? Can we change the image that we have of someone else? Digging on this. Also, for the sake of conversation, the art was freaking awesome. You got to throw that in once in a while, you know what I'm saying? Because sometimes we forget. Honestly, sometimes I get so into a story that I barely look at the images. I'm just focused on the words. I'm just boom, 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 boom. But I have to remind myself, this is the ultimate visual media. You know what I'm saying? The perfect combination of reading and visualizing the images in and of themselves. I mean, for crying out loud, if you're ever watching subtitles on a movie, you're barely watching the movie. You're reading. Even if it's being spoken in your language, you usually read. My eyes always get caught down to the subtitles are on. I need to read. But yeah, fantastic! Like, what a great blend of everything in this comic, dude. This was by far the best issue, and has me so amped for the next issue. What's about to happen next? Wow! Because of course, this is all leading into a big the Infinity Stones event. I'm genuinely looking forward to that. Anyway, guys, that's going to be about it for me. Hey, if an ad happens to coincidentally show at the end of this, that's the only way that us creators actually get paid, right? So consider giving this thing a like. Just turn it sideways. And for more, really cool in-depth reviews, unless you didn't like this, then by all means, subscribe. I'm saying, once in a while I got to say this in my videos. So I'm out. Love you guys. Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.